Welcome, everybody. Pro Wrestling Experience here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com and WLGK Logic Radio here in the great city of Chicago, Illinois. Glad and pleasured and honored to talk to one of my favorite personalities in the history of the wrestling business. You can follow him at Twitter at Teddy Playa Long. I want to make sure we got that right, so there's no confusion here. Teddy Playa Long. Coming all the way from the Dirty South, former NWA, WCW, and WWE personality, Teddy Long. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Josh? How you doing, player?
I'm doing fantastic. But before we get started, do you have any Chicago memories? I'm sure you've been here a bunch of times.
Well, not really memories, you know what I mean? I've been to Chicago, like you said, many times. I was there when we was wrestling at the United Center. I do have a memory there. That's where I was a referee then. I did Chi-Town Heat. I did the match between Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. I was involved in that match, so that was, that's a good memory. And like I said, all my times at the Allstate Arena there, I've had wonderful times. Chicago has always been a big, nice town for me. You know, people always responded, always welcomed me with open arms, and so believe me, player, I love Chicago.
And Chicago loves you too, man. It's always a fantastic time seeing you perform. It's been a little while since we've seen you on TV. I think the last thing we've heard was your appearance with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. So what have you been up to recently, Teddy?
I'm kind of doing my own thing now. I'm really enjoying it. I've got a chance to come home for a while and get some rest and get away from some of all that stress.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what I've been doing. I got a website that we just got kicked off. It's called TeddyLong.com. And right there at the website, you can go to it and you can find out anything you need to know about me. You can see where my next appearances are going to be. I do speaking engagements for colleges, high schools, churches. Don't make no difference to me, wherever you want the player at. And we also got a book coming out. It should be coming out around the end of the year. We're going to start working on it. And like I said, there's a lot of things on the website. It's TeddyLong.com. And on the Twitter, you can go to TeddyLong.com and go straight to my Twitter, but it's not Teddy Long at Teddy Player Long. It's at Teddy Player Long. That's the Twitter. And let's see, man. I'm doing a big show coming up pretty close to Chicago in Midlothian, Illinois, for a wrestling company there. And I'll be there along with Ron Simmons. We're doing that on February the 27th. I'm trying to think of this company. I knew you should know it. What's the wrestling company?
Crash Test Wrestling, I think.
Crash Test Wrestling. That's right. That's what I'm trying to remember. So I'll be there. I'll be in Midlothian, Illinois, February the 27th, along with WWE Hall of Fame Ron Simmons. We'll be there for Crash Test Wrestling. Also on February the 20th, I'm in Lucedale, Mississippi. There's a company that I am running in Mobile, Alabama, called the Alabama Wrestling Federation.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start doing a lot of, big things. You're going to hear a lot more of us on social media. But Lucedale, Mississippi is on February the 20th. We call it Fan Appreciation Night, where the fans can come and get a $25, register to win a $25 gift card. We're going to be giving away a lot of them. And we're going to be having a lot of fun. So also I'm doing some stuff with Ignite Wrestling. That's down in St. Port Lucie, Florida. I'll be going down for those guys on March the 20th. I think I'm down there for them. And I'm just doing a lot of, things on my own. I'm doing some Comic-Cons that are going to be coming up. And I'm doing some speaking engagements. And so I'm just enjoying myself, man. Got away from all this stress, got my weight back down. So I'm in the gym 6 days a week, man. And so I'm just having a blast.
You can find all the information for Teddy's events at teddylong.com, and I'm pretty sure I'll be over there for the Crash Test Wrestling show on February 27th. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Teddy,
okay, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there, player.
Same here, man. Let me ask you something. So you're saying you were just coming out of the gym before we got this interview started. I have to ask this: do you listen to your theme song while you're working out? Because I think it's a perfect gym song to work out to.
No, I don't listen to it. When I'm working out, I got a lot of old school music I listen to. I listen to a lot of James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to work with him before I got in professional wrestling. So, no, I like my theme too, man. I think it's outstanding.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up jazz music. For people that don't know that are tuning in for the first time, I spent about majority of my childhood and through the high school years playing jazz music and played around the city and played in Berkeley Jazz Festival. So very well rounded in jazz and R&B music. Who's some of your favorite R&B and jazz artists, or even soul back in the day?
Well, I didn't I think you misunderstood me. I didn't say jazz music.
Oh,
said
okay.
James Brown.
James Brown. Okay, now I got you.
But there were some people back in my day, Coltrane, John Coltrane. I don't think a lot of people remember them. The Jazz Crusaders, people like that. Ramsey Lewis, he was a big jazz artist. People like that, man. I remember them, but I said I listened to a lot of James Brown because I worked for him, before I got into professional wrestling when I was a young kid. So, yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Now, you brought up James Brown, and what hooked you into professional wrestling? Why did you want to join the business?
Well, I just started, they were taping Georgia Championship Wrestling here in Atlanta at the TBS studios, which is, TBS was, back then it was Channel 17, there was no cable. And me and my son just started going down on Saturday mornings and started, watching the TV taping, watching them tape the wrestling shows that would air on Saturday night. So during that time, I got a chance, to meet some guys. I met Tommy Rich, and I got a chance to meet Abdullah the Butcher. Well, Abdullah the Butcher had came to Atlanta. He didn't know his way around, so he needed somebody to kind of ride with him and show him around. And so I kind of started doing that. And so on Saturday mornings, when the TV taping started, I had a chance to go down with Abdullah the Butcher to the TV station, and by me being with him, I got a chance to go in the back where the guys were. So I just started doing that, and then they started letting me go to the ring and started letting me get the jackets and stuff. When they pulled off the jackets or whatever ring attire they were wearing, I would always go and pick that up and take that back to the locker room. Also, I started running errands, going and getting the guys food and coffee and stuff, and so Dusty Rhodes, God rest his soul, he took a liking to me, and so he would have these production meetings, and I would have to go in those production meetings and bring them like coffee and stuff to Jim Crockett, J.J. Dillon, a lot of the other guys that were in the meeting there. So Dusty started making me stay in those meetings. He would make me stay there and just listen to what was going on. I didn't have any idea what I was listening to, and I didn't know. But I did learn a lot from that, and I was able to put that to good use after I got myself involved in professional wrestling. But like I said, Dusty gave me my first job, and my first job was putting up the ring, taking the ring down. I got that job, and so when I was putting up the ring, taking the ring down, there was a show one night in Marietta, Georgia, at the Cobb Civic Center. The referee didn't show up, so they asked me could I referee, so I went and filled in for the referee who didn't show. And that's how I started refereeing. I started from there. And after I started refereeing for a while, I started riding with Kevin Sullivan and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, God rest his soul. And so I told these guys about I could DJ. And so we would go down the road riding, and I'd turn the radio down and start DJing for them. And so they were impressed with that. And so they took it and went to the booker or the promoters and told them, hey, just Teddy Long, he can do more than referee, he can talk. And so that's exactly what they needed, was somebody, that could talk. That's what managers do. So that's how I got involved in managing, which was Kevin Sullivan, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and also Jim Ross. He was a part of that. He made that happen. So that's how I started managing guys. And that's basically how I broke into the business.
We're talking to Teddy Long here on the Pro Wrestling Experience at ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. You brought up Jim Ross. We got to interview JR a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about how he used to be a referee back in the day in Mid-South as well, and doing a lot of similar stuff he did before he became a commentator. In your opinion, Teddy, with you being a former referee, a former ring crew guy, a manager, a SmackDown manager, what do you say is the biggest lesson you learned in your many years in the business?
Well, there was no lesson to be learned. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What I learned is how to survive and how to make it in this business. And that takes a lot, because when I was coming, breaking in back in the NWA days, nobody didn't have nobody to tell you nothing. Now you got certain guys like The Undertaker who will sit down and talk with the young guys and give them, good advice, put some good stuff in their head and put them in the right direction. Back then, there wasn't nobody to do that. So basically, everything I learned, I had to learn it on my own. And what I mean by that, there were times that I had to be in places that I had to keep my mouth shut and keep my ears open. So I did a lot of that. So that's what you do when you break in. You keep your mouth shut and you listen, and that's the way you'll learn a lot. So I just learned how to survive in this business and how to make it with the help of God. God was right there always, by my side, because there were some people that said I was going to be nothing. I wasn't going to make it. I had no talent and all this stuff, But, like I said, haters or fans in denial. So, I was able to make it through the help of God and people like Vince McMahon that made it possible, for me to make it and gave me the opportunity that nobody else would have gave me.
You recently, in this kind of era in WWE, you got released about a year or so, and let me ask you this: you're bringing up haters. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm part of the media. I went to broadcasting school here, and I take more of an optimistic approach with wrestling. I'm not one to bash it. It's just not my thing. I try to learn and study with each show that goes on each week. But with social media these days and just everybody find a way to piss and moan about wrestling, do you see that? Does it bother you, or have you seen that in the past, even before you came to WWE?
Well, it's always been like that. It's just that back in the day, there was no social media and there was no internet and all that stuff, and there was no way for it to get out. But like I said, it's just got really mainstream now. But that people are gonna be people. Everybody ain't gonna like you. It's just that simple. And some people are going to have their opinions, So, I let people say what they want to say. It doesn't bother me because only I know the truth. So, like I said, people bashing me or bashing wrestling, I just, that's their opinion. They're free to say whatever they want to, so it doesn't bother me.
We had the Super Bowl this past Sunday. Broncos new champions. They had a big hoopla about Cam Newton and his post-game shenanigans. What was your thoughts on the game, Teddy? Did you get to see it? And what was your thoughts on the whole Cam Newton fiasco?
Well, I had a chance to see the Super Bowl. In fact, I put a video out about it. It's on YouTube. It was really good. I got about 6,000 views and maybe more than that now. But I enjoyed the game. But I have to say this to Cam Newton. Great football player. Believe me, brother. He's going to go places. He's a young man.
Yep. And
so, you got to understand, in this world, everybody, has to be able to play the game. And what I think that and this is my opinion, what I think, and I tweeted this out, I said to Cam Newton, I said, in this world there are winners and losers. Cam Newton, you're a grown-ass man. Act like it. So that's all I had to say. And you got to be a man, If that had been me, what I think he should have done after that Super Bowl was over with, I think he should have went over and embraced Peyton Manning, shake his hand, wished him all the best in the world, congratulate him on a Super Bowl win. Plus, if he's going to retire, congratulate him on his retirement.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Peyton Manning did a lot for the NFL and a lot for for football and etc. So, this man is a legend. So you can't. You can't let your emotions get the best of you. So I think Cam, after he probably went back and saw exactly how he acted, one time I think he fell down on the ground, like having a temper tantrum. I think maybe after he looked at that and kind of thought about it, I'm pretty sure he may have been disgusted with himself. I don't know. But I love Cam Newton. I think he's a great football player, and he's going to go places, and there's going to be another Super Bowl. So the only thing I say to you, man, if you lose, you lose. There's another day. It's just that simple.
WrestleMania is coming up in about a month and a half in Dallas in Jerry World. You got to perform in WrestleMania with the infamous Team Johnny versus Team Teddy match from WrestleMania 28. You get to be there in behind the scenes aspects. How is it WrestleMania Day? Just getting to see the big production stages. Just tell us with your experience performing at WrestleMania.
Well, I've seen a lot of WrestleManias, man. I mean, that's the Super Bowl of wrestling. Behind the scenes, it's really hectic, that day. There's a Hall of Fame that night before WrestleMania, and then everybody's up around 9 or 10 o'clock the next morning, getting over to the arena to have WrestleMania. So it's a real busy day. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, a lot of pre-tapes, a lot of things that's going to be done to be added to the show. And it's one of the greatest, thrills you could have to be able to perform at WrestleMania. The first one I had a chance to walk out on, it was just unbelievable. And then there was one that we had in Atlanta, Georgia, and I walked down, and about 70,000 people would chant my name. So that was incredible for me. I really felt good. So WrestleMania is the highlight of wrestling. And if you haven't had a chance to go to a WrestleMania, or you haven't had a chance to see one, I suggest that you do that before you leave this world, because it's really an exciting show.
Teddy, let me ask you this from a character standpoint: who gave you more headaches, Christian or Edge?
I really didn't. Nobody gave me headaches. I got along with everybody. I had chemistry with everybody. Everybody that I was involved with for a storyline. As you can see, I made everything work with everybody I was ever with. So I didn't have any headaches with nobody. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I had any problems with anybody. Anybody that I was with, they knew that I'd been in the business longer and I had a little bit more experience, so they was happy to be, for me to be a part of that and to give them, some of the advice that I had. So, and that's what I'm doing now too. It's like I go and watch with a lot of the indie shows, and I'm running a lot of indie companies, and I'm there because I want to help these young kids try to make it. Some of them may never make it to the WWE, who knows? But at least, I wanted to say that I did help some of them. I gave them some good knowledge, or I put them on the right track. So I never, like I said, Playa, I never had any headaches with anybody. I got along with everybody.
Yeah, I was talking in the TV character standpoint, because obviously we had Christian as the heel when he was bitching for one more match all the time, and then you had Edge always hiding behind Vicky Guerrero. So those are great memories from your work. Speaking of your time with SmackDown, what was the decision? What was the antithesis of making you the GM of SmackDown?
Well, I had no idea I was even going to be the GM of SmackDown. That's one thing about this, they don't tell you nothing, ahead of time. Sometimes some of the writers may come to you and tell you what we're going to do, and they have this plan. But I was one of those guys that I was never told anything about nothing as far as being the general manager. Yeah. All I know is one day I walked in and they told me this was what was going to happen. Tonight you're going to be the GM.
Teddy Long here on the Pro Wrestling Experience on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com. I wanted to go back to the WCW days because I've been watching a lot of stuff on the WWE Network. You got to be the manager for Doom with Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. Tell us about that experience, getting to work with Butch and Ron.
Well, they were really two great guys, outstanding guys. Butch Reed, he was a headache sometimes. He liked to drink, and Butch had his moments. But other than that, it was just great fun, with him and Ron both. I really enjoyed working with both of them. And as of this day, Ron Simmons and I, in fact, me and Ron were talking this morning. I spoke to him on the phone this morning. And him and I really we still stay close with each other, and we do a lot of, indie shows together. So I think with Butch and Ron, it was great. It was the best thing I think that could have happened to me. I had a chance to display my heel talents and, to help make a name for myself and to make myself a brand.
A couple of years ago, they had a thing called WWE Classics on Demand. They had this big show called Legends of Wrestling. It's like a big roundtable discussion. I think I've seen you a couple times there with JR, Michael Hayes, Pat Patterson, etc. Would you be interested in doing that down the road for the network or something if they propose that to you?
Well, whatever Vince would like for me to do, I'd be happy to do it. Because, like I said, Vince McMahon gave me the opportunity that nobody else did. He made me a star. He made Teddy Long, and I appreciate that for him. And whatever I can do to give back to him to show my appreciation, I'd be willing to do that. So whatever Vince would call me and ask me to do, I'd be happy to do it.
I was watching a clip on YouTube last night preparing for the interview, and I saw the wedding with you and Crystal, and then we saw the return of the Godfather. Do you still keep up with Charles? How's he doing today?
In fact, I talked to him about a week ago. I had a picture that I tweeted out, him and a bunch of girls and stuff, and he was also telling me that, I think this year he's being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So that's going to be nice for him. So I congratulated him on that. And like I said, I did talk to him maybe about a week ago. So I stay in touch with, quite a few guys. And what basically happens there, once you're on TV, nobody don't want to have nothing to do with you. But there's some people that will stay in touch with you when you're not on TV. That lets you know who your true friends are. So I have another, Tony Allen. He's another guy that I stay in contact with. He calls me all the time. Me and him talk because me and him came up around in the same era. So, like I said, I stay in touch, with a lot of guys. Not everybody, but there are a few guys that I talk to constantly.
I know a lot of fans and media members always like to revert back to the Attitude Era as like the greatest era of wrestling. I don't feel like a lot of people give today's wrestlers a chance. There's a lot of guys on the roster that don't have a lot of TV experience on WWE like they did back in the day. In your opinion, Teddy, what's your thoughts on today's roster? I know you don't get to watch as much, even though you were there a couple years ago. What's your thoughts on some of the guys from today's WWE?
Well, I get a chance to watch it all. I may not watch the whole show, but I get a chance to flip around and check Raw out because sometimes people on my Facebook and Twitter page, they, ask me, what did I think about certain matches or certain people.
Yeah.
I think, there's a lot of young guys that's got to learn a lot. Wrestling has basically changed a whole lot. It's a fast-moving paced game right now, fast-moving sport. And you got to get it. And if you don't get it right away, you're not going to make it because this business is so fast now. They don't have time to wait on you. But I see a lot in Kevin Owens. I like him. You know what I mean? I don't know him. Never had a chance to meet him, but he's a big guy. I mean, looks good to me, in my opinion. I think he moves good to be a guy his size. He really shows me something. I like, there's a girl there, Becky Lynch. She cut a great promo here about 3 weeks ago on Playa's daughter. And I enjoyed watching her. I did Naomi with Team Bad. I enjoy those girls. Snuka's daughter, she's real great. And we got some of the guys like New Day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't agree with. I don't really care about all that get up that they got. That doesn't really do anything for me. But those guys are really talented. You got Big E, in my opinion, and I think should be by himself. I think they should be billing him to be your next Mark Henry. I hear that maybe Mark may be retired after WrestleMania, so you're gonna need a big star there. So, and Big E was a real nice guy too, man. He was just as humble and nice, and I think he would be the guy, to try to go ahead and put some time in and to invest some money in. Like I said, there's a lot of young guys there, and they just doing, trying to do what they can with what they got. But some of the guys are gonna make it. I like Roman Reigns. He's got a great look. I think he's gonna be okay. He just has to work on his mic skills a little bit, get his promos together. And Dean Ambrose, the lunatic, I enjoy watching him. I think he does a great job there. So it's a lot of guys there, man, that I believe are going to make it. It just, they gotta, they gotta get up and get it, man. It's not going to be handed to you. You got to get up and go get it now. Like back in the day, it was kind of handed to people, but it ain't that way now. So, like I said, I think they got some great talent there, and it just takes a while. Some of them are going to make it, and some of them are not. So that's the name of the game. Now,
Teddy, let me ask you this. We had really sad news this past Monday about Daniel Bryan announcing his retirement. How's Daniel in person? You got to interact with him and had a couple segments with him on TV. How's your time getting to work with Daniel? What's your thoughts on his retirement?
Oh, well, Daniel Bryan was a great guy, had a great attitude. I mean, just a super nice guy. And like you said, I had a chance to do a few things with him, and I enjoyed working with him. And I had a chance to work out with him one day, train with him. So he's a monster in that gym, too. Believe me, I couldn't keep up, but just to be there, being a part of it, was great for me. But Daniel Bryan, I love him, man, and he's certainly going to be missed because he was great. He was great at what he did, and he certainly, with his time when he joined WWE, he certainly became a whole lot better. He's a guy that went a long way in a short time.
The Hall of Fame's coming up this year. Sting is announced the first inductee in this year's class. You brought up the Godfather. Charles will be joining him in this class. Teddy, you got to attend a couple of Hall of Fame ceremonies. What's your thoughts on the ceremonies? Do you like that aspect of WrestleMania weekend? And who would you like to see be inducted in this year's class in Dallas?
Well, the Hall of Fame is always good. You know, that's always good for everybody that's put in some time in this business. You know, I feel that if you put in a lot of time and you've done your work and you were able to help the promotion make money and draw ratings or whatever your job was, and you performed that, I feel that you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So I think that's great. That's a great opportunity, to be able to retire, get out of this sport, and say that you're a former Hall of Famer. I think it's the best thing that you could have thought of. I don't know. To me, I'm just trying to see. There's so many guys, you know what I mean. So, but basically, I'd probably like to see right now is maybe Terry Taylor. He was great, outstanding back in the day. So I think that he would be good to go in the Hall of Fame.
Teddy, you're still rocking strong. I'm not putting a death sentence or anything. You're still working out in the gym. You're going out of towns, going to independent shows. You're still rocking and rolling. What would you like fans to remember you by with your work with the WWE? And just in general, with your time in the business?
Well, they just remember that whatever I went out on TV and did, it was all about the fans. That's what my job and my motto was. If I was a bad guy, I wanted to make you boo me and make you hate me. That's what I was out there to do. Mm-hmm. If I was a good guy, I wanted to make you cheer for me, and that's exactly what I did. And basically, my character was me. You know what I mean? A lot of segments were written for me, and basically a lot of stuff that I went out and did, it was Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon wrote a lot of my stuff. I was kind of like Vince's right-hand guy. So, for TV, what I went out on TV, I made him happy, and that made me happier than anything to make him happy. So, I just want the fans to remember, whatever I went out and did, I did it for them. I wanted to make them happy and make them say when they left that, hey, we had a great time at wrestling, and we sure enjoyed Teddy Long that night. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, Playa.
Holla, holla, holla. Make sure you check out Teddy later on this month in Midlothian, Illinois for Crash Test Wrestling on February 27th. You can meet Teddy and the great Ron Simmons, WWE Hall of Famer. I'll be down there. Hopefully I get to meet you, Teddy, in person. But make sure, before we let Teddy go here, make sure to follow Teddy at Twitter at Teddy Playa Long, and also check out his website, teddylong.com. Teddy, it was an honor and a privilege getting to talk to you, my man. Holla, 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 Playa. And hopefully I get to meet you down there for Crash Test Wrestling, and we would love to have you back on the show sometime.
Hey, man, well, I thank you guys very much, too, man, and I appreciate you taking the time out to, want to talk to me. And like you said, they can follow me at teddylong.com and get any information that they need to know about me. There's a phone number on there, so if you want to book me for your wrestling event or whatever, you can call that number and we can set that up. And like I said, once again, I appreciate you having me on your show, and I'll be happy to come back at